robbery. Hands in the sky if you got a dream. Learn nothing was blocking me. I was the problem, the only one stopping me. I didn't like it, I had to refocus. Now I'm devoted, I know where I'm going. Controlling emotions, I'm owning the moment. In order to get it, see, you gotta want it. Don't make a living break. Confessions over these 808s. Don't sleep on the key, better stay away. I mean, for heaven's sake, I'ma be the best. Came from the endless, lane roll games, bitch you with the chest. Beating on my chest, trying to get my rest. Watch me while I flex. Every win is a blessing, and every L is a lesson. So when I run into rejection, I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. It's just as important and likely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Quitting was never an option.
5 races to go in the OSRL Premier Series, and tonight we tackle the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This 2.5-mile rectangle is one of the oldest racetracks in the country and is known for its distinctive shape and blistering speeds down its long straightaways. Good evening, everyone. I'm Hunter Brittle alongside my good friend Ross Brockman, ready to bring you all the action of the Online Speedway Racing League Premier Series Indianapolis 200 live on split-second broadcasting. Ross, we've got 80 laps around the Brickyard on tap tonight. What are you looking forward to as these drivers get set to go racing?
I was thinking back a few weeks ago, we were on the call here with the series at Pocono, a very similar track, except we're going to add the 4th turn this time here at Indianapolis. We talked about the turn 2 at Pocono has is inspired by one of the turns here at Indy. Of course, all 4 of these turns very similar. It's a lot of kind of just hitting it perfect into the turn, and I'd love to see how these drivers tackle that, because you can race a little bit side by side, but it's a lot easier to go through each of these corners single file. So we'll see if we get any side by side racing. But the one thing I love about Indy in a car like this is, like, if you mess up one of the corners, then you are in trouble, and if you nail the corner, the person in front of you, you can maybe potentially get a run on them, and then you just play that game of chicken down the straightaways, which I think is always sometimes interesting to watch. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I think this is likely a green flag race. We'll see if that is true once we get going here. But if it is, I think we'll see a 2-stop race, depending on if we do get some cautions in there to break it up. But otherwise, we'll see. We'll see if we'll get the long green flag runs like we did at Pocono a handful of weeks ago.
I think you're absolutely right, Ross. I mentioned it prior to going live on the broadcast. I think we're going to see a race really similar to Motegi a couple weeks back, where we were there broadcasting the OSRL Premier Series. Long green flag runs. There were some cautions, but once they got going, there wasn't any stopping of them. You're going to see these cars get spread out and run wide open around this 2.5-mile rectangle. As the cars have started to roll off of the grid and complete the pace laps, let's go through the field. Starting with your front row, your pole sitter, Josh Chin, setting a blistering pace of 53.138 seconds, with Kendall Carpenter to his outside in second.
And starting third, the 31 of Mo Perry, and starting fourth, the 15 of Cole Freilich.
Nolan Sanford rolls off from the 5th spot. Good qualifying effort from Nolan here tonight. Let's see if he can keep it up there inside the top 5. And he'll have William Schmidt in the 79 to the outside in 6th.
Starting 7th in the 53 is Griffin Jones, and then starting 8th, the 33 of Isaac Johnson.
Brett Bennett rolls off from the 9th position, with Nathan Kiani rounding out the top 10.
Starting 11th, the 24 of Marty Farrell, and starting 12th, the 6 of Spencer Madden, who is one of our drivers going for the bonus tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that throughout the night.
Levi Wolf in the 7 car rolls off from the 13th starting position, with John Szulczewski to his outside in 14th.
Starting 15th, the 12 of Emery Spence, and starting to the right of that 12 car of Emery Spence is the 02 of John Daniels.
In the 17th spot lines up Michael Deitch with Trey Patton to the outside in 18th.
Starting 19th, the 4 of Adam Harrington, and starting in 20th is the 48 of Gavin Newton.
Braden Movick rolls off from the 21st starting position. A long grind from the back of the field tonight for Braden Movick. He'll be one of those drivers going for the No Bull prize, which is $25 tonight. If one of those No Bull drivers can take home the victory, they will get an extra little cash incentive. Braden rolls off in the 21st position with Jack Painter to his outside in 22nd.
You got two drivers there, 21st and 22nd, and Movick and Painter, who are going to be moving forward. I think in 23rd, the 67 and Nate Stewart going to do the same, and we'll see if the 30 of Corey Rexford, who starts 24th, can follow those guys up there.
And rounding out the field, Shane Sweeney starting in the 25th and last position. Just to recap those No Bull drivers that we mentioned earlier, Kendall Carpenter, Jacob A. Wilkerson, Braden Movick, William Schmidt, and Spencer Madden, all drivers going for that No Bull prize that we established at our last race. They were the top 5 finishers from the previous No Bull race, and tonight they'll be going for that $25 cash incentive should they win tonight's event and lock themselves into the next No Bull race, which is the season finale at Las Vegas in a couple weeks' time. Ross, final thoughts before we get going here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Joshua Chin, Kendall Carpenter, both first and second in points here. Joshua Chin's been just losing a little bit of ground the last handful of weeks to Kendall Carpenter in the points, but still has a nice points lead now on the pole tonight, kind of the first time we've seen him up front in a handful of weeks. Excited to see these two battle it out and see if anyone else can challenge.
I'll tell you who I'm looking out for is that 31 of Mo Perry there sitting in the second row. He's been really good on these fast, wide open tracks. Can he keep that good run going tonight? Green flag is out. We are underway here at Indianapolis. Josh Chin leads him down into turn number 1 and away. Big wreck in the back. 4 or 5 cars piled up into the outside wall. Caution flag waves. We didn't even make it to turn 1, Ross. It's all over for the back 5 in the field, basically.
Yeah, we were talking about some of those drivers that some strong contenders who ultimately just didn't qualify tonight. Not sure if there was issues on qualifying or what, but yeah, we talked about some of these guys trying to move forward, and it might be an end of the night for a handful of them. We'll see the replay here. I see
Deitch is involved, Trey Patton's involved, John Daniels involved.
Yeah, just a bad situation. We talked about, like, even at slower speeds, it's hard to go through these corners, flat, kind of narrow, side by side. We'll see what happened here.
Just a big checkup there. That's the 57 of Michael Deitch. Just plows into the back of John Daniels there. Just a miscommunication between how fast they were going to enter the corner. And Ross, I talked about it during the pace laps. These big wide open tracks like this in Motegi and Pocono, you have to get every position that you can get on these restarts, because that's when everybody's packed up and in like strikeable position. And I believe that's what we just witnessed here when it gets a little too aggressive on the start of the race.
Even for the best drivers, it's kind of like really easy to, especially at a track like this where it looks like that 0-2 jump down to the inside lane. I think that's obviously the preferred lane there, but yeah, I was thinking, it's so easy when you're side by side to be focused on that driver next to you, seeing where they're at, maybe making sure you give them some room, and then you kind of just forget about the driver directly in front of you, or you just misjudge it a little bit, or it's too late by the time you do realize you're maybe going a little bit faster. But with the 0-2 jumping down to that inside, it's just gonna stack up that line even faster because there was a gap there, but it's just closed up way too fast.
And it ends with 5 cars piled into that outside wall. Heavy contact. You see the body panels flipping down the virtual turn number 1. We get one more look into it, and it's just, cars sent spinning like a top down into turn number 1 at speeds well over 140, 150 miles an hour by the time they get going down there.
Not a track to have, even just a little bit of damage, let alone, obviously we're going to have some of these guys that are probably going to just call it, but for some of them that maybe just got a little bit of damage there, it makes for a long night just with the speeds you have here and having any aero issues. So as that 02 of John Daniels is on pit road, going to try to at least work on it for a little while, as most everybody else came down pit road and got back out there. I don't know if they're just trying to stay on the lead lap at least to see what they got as far as pace.
Well, while we were focused on the big action at the back of the pack, Kendall Carpenter got a absolute ripper of a start and powered around pole sitter Josh Chin on the outside in turns number 1 and basically 1.5, because we didn't even get to turn number 2. So Kendall Carpenter has claimed the lead before we even got a full lap completed at here at Indianapolis. So a great restart from him, as now he rides alongside the pace car and paces this field, as they will receive the 1-to-go signal this time.
It's going to take, looks to be the outside on the restart now, which worked well even as, not being the control car to start this race. So why not do it again? But this time he'll get the chance to go first. So yeah, I thought that was a really nice job by Carpenter to be able to just roll the speed on the start and stay right with Chin. Even, it wasn't shortly after the start-finish line, and he already was kind of in front of the 93. So I think then it gives you just a little bit more ability going into the corner to have that outside and potentially get clear. And I think Joshua Chin, it's a long race. He's not going to push it too hard. If he beats you on the start like that, you just kind of go at it and see where, of course it also depends on where the caution fell too. So we'll see volume 2 here. We'll see what happens and who can get the start this time.
Yeah, if you pick that outside lane here on the restart and you get clear of that inside car going into turn number 1, it already sets you up with that wide arc that you need to carry maximum speed through these 90-degree corners here at Indianapolis. So a tactical move by Kendall Carpenter. He saw how well it worked on the opening on the start of the race. We'll see if he can get it done here on the restart here as the cars start to make their way into turns 3 and 4, coming down to the front straightaway. We'll get set to go green once again here at Indianapolis. Pace car dives onto the pit lane, and Carpenter's already gone, not wasting any time here. He's going to have a 3-4 car length advantage as they get off into turn number 1. Josh Chin's left defending from the likes of Cole Freilich there for 3rd, as Mo Perry looks on in 4th. But Kendall Carpenter wasted no time on that restart and has opened up a significant lead while Freilich looks low on Chin.
He talked about it, Chin being on that inside, just kind of didn't really set up his option going into 1 to arc into the corner, and Freilich got to the inside, but Josh Chin did a great job through 2 to hold him off and hold on to 2nd. I thought that, with Mo Perry being behind Kendall Carpenter, that was an opportunity for him. He kind of lost the spot, now battling back underneath Freilich here in turn 4.
Yeah, Mo seems to be really good at these wide open racetracks. Motegi, Pocono, he had good runs. I expected him to have a good starting position and a good run tonight going into this race, and so far he's proven me right here, as he was trying to make a move on Freilich there last time by, but seems to slip back a little bit now into the clutches of Nolan Sanford. As we've got one up in the wall, Isaac Johnson puts it up in the fence and is now blinking, having connectivity issues. He gets it righted, and we stay green, but a hairy moment there for the driver in the number 33 car, heading off into turn number 2.
What happened there? Nice job of just saving himself and everyone around him to keep going here. It's a little scary just because it does seem like it narrows up the track when you have somebody that misses a corner or has issues in the corner. It can be a little hairy when you exit the corner and not knowing where their angle is going to be, as we got a stack up here with a handful of drivers. Movick trying to run down to the bottom there and just trying to move forward.
Yeah, Braden Movick there, we talked about it, one of the No Bowl drivers who did not put a qualifying lap down. So he started back in the 21st position, has made his way up to the 15th running position, make it 14 now, as he's now trying to get to the outside of Marty Farrell there going down the back straightaway. So Braden's got a tough hill to climb. And like we said, you got to get all these positions early on in these runs while you can, while everybody's stacked up. As he goes for another move on Emery Spence here, move Movick up to the 12th spot now.
Emery Spence just kind of missed the bottom there in 3. That gave Movick the opportunity to power by and just kind of stacks everybody up a little bit when you have one person have issues. But Movick getting around there and getting the clean air now, able to try to maybe drive away here. But yeah, it definitely seems like it's really tough to be perfect here tonight. Even just in the first handful of laps of watching these drivers try to hit the bottom and hit the line, a lot of them are missing it and losing ground when that happens.
Big moment there for Nathan Chiani and Brett Bennett battling for the 9th spot. You saw them side by side there off the corner. Chiani just managed to squeeze up in front of the 06 here. As now Bennett's looking to the inside once again. Oh, you can see the wiggle there. The aero game's already being played here at Indianapolis. You get that with these high speeds. These drivers drive right up underneath the rear bumper of the car in front of them. Gets them a little loose, can make them walk up the track a little bit and give a passing opportunity down these straightaways. Didn't work that time for Bennett, but the practice is there. You saw it last time through 4.
You guys kind of even throwing it in there into the corners to kind of slide around. It's fun to watch them do that. I noticed also like that last corner, the last time entering 3, we'll see a little farther apart now with Chiani and Bennett, but where you're the lead car, you kind of want to drive in a little deeper because you just want to get away from the person behind you. Well, then the person behind you can kind of ease in and focus on their exit and get you back anyway. So I think there's some unique strategy on how you can set up passes with how you enter the corner, whether you want to take it easy and work on your exit or drive it in deeper and give up a little bit maybe on your way out of the corner.
William Schmidt trying to claw his way back up to the 6th position. He had fallen to 8th on that initial, these opening 10 laps. Now starting to claw his way back forward. Now he's gotten past Nathan Chiani and Madden, that is. Now sets his sights on the 53 of Griffin Jones, who's a little bit up the road, about a 1-second gap up there to the 6th spot. As now the top 6 are starting to check out a little bit here on their own. They've got about even gaps between all of them, except for that leader in Kendall Carpenter and Josh Chin. That lead has shrunk down to about 1-2 car length advantage now. Josh Chin is on the hunt for that lead position.
We saw it a little bit at Pocono with these drivers once they got kind of spread out, where they use all of the track. Even I just seen on entry for our leaders, they're almost rubbing the wall to make sure they get the best arc, and then off the corner they are getting close and even touching the wall and scraping it a handful of times, and they're still up here battling up in the top 5. So they're leaving it all on the track, and then also just leaving maybe some marks on the walls. But so far I saw Carpenter hit it pretty significantly right after kind of the first couple laps since that restart. And I thought, well, maybe that would back him up a little bit. And I mean, he has, but not as much as I definitely thought he would based on how much it looked like he hit it.
Yeah, it's all about maximizing, as you see Carpenter just brushing that outside wall. They're almost going for a Darlington stripe here at Indianapolis, hanging that right rear out, and just getting a little kiss off that safer barrier there up on the outside wall. But it's all about the run that you can get down these straightaways at these at Indianapolis here. These straightaways are so long. If you can preserve maximum speed through turns 2 and 4 that sets you up for those long straightaways, you're going to be in pretty good shape here. And keep the rear tires underneath you, because that's what's going to give you that drive off down the straightaways, is having good grip on those tires. And it looks like Josh Chin might have a little bit better grip than Kendall Carpenter is. We've got a big moment back here in the pack. Marty Farrell going too wide with Emery Spence. Big moment, almost gets run over by Gavin Newton there in the 48. They seem to sort it out there, get back single file, but that was a hairy moment back there for the 14th spot.
And we talked about how this just kind of stacks everybody up once you get to battling, or you have one person even have some issues, and if the person behind them can't set up the pass, then you see the 48 here trying to get to the inside, and that just brings Marty Farrell in that 24 right to the back bumper of the 48 of Newton here. Gonna have a run. Get to the inside.
Down to the inside goes the 24 of Marty Farrell on the 48 of Gavin Newton. He's going to have the preferred lane as they get down into turn number 3. They'll still be side by side. Gavin powers back on the outside. Not really something you see at Indianapolis very often. That outside lane holding serve here. As now he's going to look to the inside of Emery Spence. Emery's up in the wall there. Heavy contact. He's going to lose multiple spots, probably 5 of them by the time he gets down to the end of the front straightaway, still trying to get it back under control and off that wall. But now Gavin Newton's under fire from the 7 of Levi Wolf.
Yeah, Spence kind of missed the corner. We've seen it a couple times tonight, just kind of struggling a little bit on entry, and that's stacked everybody up here. And now a handful of them got around that 7 car and moving, the 7 car here moving back to Marty Farrell here to the inside. There we go. Marty Farrell around the 7 of Levi Wolf here, entering 3. And going to try to chase back down Newton in that 48, who's kind of gotten away from this group now after a pretty clean 1 and 2.
And he'll smack the wall there out of 2, lose a lot of time. Forget looking at the front runners, Ross. The dog fights back here for 13th as now Marty Farrell goes around the outside. He'll reclaim that 13th spot as they fire off into turn number 1.
Yeah, whoever's leading this pack is the one that's in trouble, it seems, and that sometimes is actually common, because it's like you have that car in front of you to kind of judge your entry, judge your distance, and then you get into the gas maybe a little bit later, just waiting for them to kind of go, and where you're the lead driver, if you've had somebody in front of you for a long time, then you go drive into the corner and you just totally miss it because you don't have that person in front of you to judge. So I don't know if that's what's happening here, but yeah, every time so one of these drivers gets out front in this group, they kind of stack it up. So we'll see. Marty Farrell can lead them around. Good drive through 3 and 4 this time. Going to have a pretty nice entry into 4 there to try to get a run down this front stretch.
And this racetrack itself will lull you into a sense of, all right, I'm just going to keep my right foot down as far as I can. And suddenly the corner's up on you and you have to slam on brakes. Otherwise, you're going in that outside wall. These straightaways are so long, you just get so used to holding that loud pedal down. And it can create some hairy moments, as we've seen back here in the battle for the 13th spot that appears to have calmed down now. But we're going to check back in on those guys later, as Josh Chen has closed again once again on Kendall Carpenter. The gap's back down to about 2 car lengths now as they come out of turn number 4 to complete lap 16. Josh Chen's on the hunt. Carpenter had stretched that lead back out. Now we're having to seeing the cat and mouse game being played here, as Josh Chen took a narrower arc into turn number 1 and really drew up underneath Carpenter, but then Carpenter got that better run out of the exit of turn number 1 and now down the back straightaway here, as he's going to strengthen that, grow that gap once again.
Chin was about a 10th faster each of the last 2 laps. Just trying to get a little bit lower than Carpenter, like you're saying. I think that entry is giving him that opportunity just to maybe try to get out of his wake a little bit. And Chin got a little loose there off of 4 that time. Just can't get back to the gas like Carpenter was able to. The other guy, I kind of just quietly sitting in 3rd was Freilich. I saw him kind of drive up to these two pretty early on in this run, but now he's kind of fallen back. Now maybe having a chance to regroup and try to chase Chin back down. His Chin's kind of backed up now from Carpenter. So, yeah, you talk about cat and mouse game, or just the rubber band of going back and forth of, okay, you get a couple laps of getting away from me, and then I can reel you back in for a couple laps. Just seems like a little bit of back and forth. We saw a lot of that a handful of weeks ago when we watched these guys run Pocono, and it's kind of lends itself to that with these big open racetracks and just trying to race the track and maybe not as much as your competition.
Well, I'll tell you another thing here, especially at Indianapolis, this is very prevalent. The aero wash that comes off of the car in front, is we see Braden Movick making a move on Spencer Madden for that 9th spot. They were battling earlier. This battle has come back together now as Braden's going to have the inside going down into turn number 1. Is going to wash up. Madden's going to go for the crossover move through the middle of 1 and 2. He's going to have the inside now. Will Movick be able to hold serve on that outside as we've seen it so many times tonight? Yes, he will move the driver number 42 up to the 9th spot.
And maybe not using up the 6 of Spencer Madden there, but Movick was just able to kind of, force both of them to go a little bit higher in one. Yeah, that gave the 6 the opportunity to get back to the inside, but I think, we've seen it tonight, that outside lane, especially if they don't have, full position on you, you can defend pretty well, and that's a great way to, make that pass and then complete it in the next corner. So Movick moving forward, we saw him, with the issue on that first caution, actually came down during that first caution. So he started in the back, moving forward. We've seen, we kind of knew that was going to happen, but up to 9th so far. Pretty good job here with just 20 laps in.
1/4 of the way through 80 laps here at Indianapolis. We've only had one retiree in Trey Patton who got caught up in that lap 1 parking lot in turn number 1. Everyone else, save Michael Deitch, is on the lead lap. Michael Deitch being scored 1 lap down, just hanging on to the tail end of this lead pack here.
Looking down this long straightaway, Mo Perry falling back to the 52 and Nolan Sanford here, and Sanford just trying to maybe kind of looked a little to the inside down the front stretch, but just not enough momentum or closeness to be able to go after Perry.
This looks to be one of the closest battles on the racetrack going back through. At least it is for one of the highest running spots here, as Mo Perry being stalked by the 52 of Nolan Sanford. Nolan was been closing on the 31 of Mo Perry throughout this entire run here. We'll have to see if he can overcome that aero wash that gets out of these cars here. Mo had not a good exit off that corner. That's going to bring Sanford right up to his rear bumper. Can he make anything happen going into turn number 1? That aero wash, they both wash up the racetrack, and that's going to bring William Schmidt right up to the back. And then this is about to be a 3-car battle for this 4th spot here, Ross.
And Schmidt's entry a lot faster than these two. Just kind of like you kind of almost see it, and he doesn't lose as much on the exit. So we talked about entry to exit and which one do you want to be good at. You can kind of decide every time you enter the corner, but Schmidt's doing a great job of trying to do well with both. As I think Sanford is a little bit better than Perry, but you almost need to be a lot better to complete the pass. So just because you got to have that forward momentum. And you see right here, just far enough back that you can't really do too much and not really closing off the corner. So maybe just trying to reset here and make another run at it. We'll see if Sanford has an opportunity. We'll see off of turn 2 here if get a little bit of a run.
Boy, Ross, we just had an absolute dogfight for the 7th running position here. A little bit of the next group back from those guys Mo Perry, William Schmidt. Braden Movick has made his way up into the top 7 now. He had to get by the likes of Griffin Jones, who is really starting to suffer on older tires, and he caught Griffin Jones was driving back or falling back to the 17 of Nathan Kiani and Spencer Madden right at the same time that Braden Movick was getting up to Kiani. And boy, it created a tense moment there as we had cars side by side bouncing off of each other. But they got it all sorted out. Now Braden Movick finds himself up to the 7th spot after starting in the 21st position. Kiani's starting to make a nice rebound as well. He's up to 8th after starting 10th. Spencer Madden up to 9th after starting 12th. And Griffin Jones, like I mentioned, the one who, with all these guys going forwards, that means somebody has to be going backwards. And right now, that is the 53 of Griffin Jones. Just trying to hang on to these tires as we get closer to pit stops and try and get some life back underneath that race car.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say is that we are closing in. I think if the way that first caution fell, that just kind of burned up a couple laps to make this race just a little bit shorter, just because it was right at the start. So it doesn't change too much, but I will say it maybe adds a couple laps to. Oh, is it Isaac Johnson back there getting the wall a little bit off of 4? But it just adds a couple laps to this opportunity to come get tires, and I think that the tire window is open. Like if you wanted to split this race into thirds, you could come down now and get back out there. It looks like Emery Spence was just down on pit road. You could come get your tires now and then split this up into thirds that way and make each run the same on your set of tires. But I think a lot of these drivers will maybe want to go a little bit farther, get closer to the fuel window, which we think is going to be a little closer to lap 30.
Well, the end of the run's coming, but that means the action is heating up here for the 4th spot. Nolan Sanford has caught Mo Perry, tried to make the pass last time by, did not make it happen. And now that has brought William Schmidt right up to their back bumper as well. It is now officially a 3-car battle for the 4th spot. Coming down into turn number 1 this time, will Nolan have a run once again on Mo? He's going to look to the outside now, but that leaves the door wide open for William Schmidt, who drives right up to the rear bumper now. 3 cars nose to tail off into turn number 2.
Sanford, I like the idea of trying the outside just to get a little maybe better exit, but man, he's loose.
He's big loose. Up into the outside wall, collects it, but I mean, William Schmidt probably has to go change his pants right now. That was a tense moment, going down the back straightaway at 170 miles an hour.
And it shows we see how hard these cars are to drive into the corner, even on a straightaway. You're turning so much, and now that 52 is going to come down. Probably a good idea. We see Josh switch in on pit road too, but you're turning so much that you're turning even still on the straightaway as you're driving onto the straightaway there. And sometimes you almost have to catch it, and it's back and forth a couple times. It looked like for that 52, able to at least keep it straight. Maybe got the wall a little bit, but going to come down and get 4 tires here and kind of get a reset.
Josh Chin has come down, so that cycles Cole Freilich up into the 2nd running position. Mo Perry up to 3rd. Interesting move by Chin to come get tires earlier than anyone else. Ross, what do you think he's looking for here? As it now looks like Kendall Carpenter will follow Josh Chin onto pit road, and he will hit pit road this time. Everyone else, I say everyone else, Mo Perry hits pit road as well. It looks like they'll be the only takers. Spencer Madden as well. They will be the only takers in the top 10 coming this time.
And you wonder if Carpenter wanted to go a little bit farther, but just the fact that Chin came down last lap, you don't want to lose potentially the lead here. He still has a chance to lose the lead if Chin is able to nail this out lap here. We'll see where they merge back in. It's really tough to get down to pit road speed. I see Mo Perry's going to have a penalty here for speeding. And I noticed Carpenter really locking him up. We saw Perry in the background doing the same, and unfortunately going to be a penalty for that 31.
Well, that really sucks for Mo Perry. He was having such a good run. All to have it wiped away here with a speeding penalty as now Freilich hits pit road. Everyone hard on the brakes down into pit lane. We're going to have to check William Schmidt's pit entry back there. He made up a ton of ground as well. The 24 Marty Farrell gets sent sideways at pit exit or at pit entrance. It's a good thing nobody else was coming, Ross. That could have been a bad moment there as we stay green because the accident did not happen on the racing surface.
It's Adam Harrington, even if he was the only one going by at the time with that 24 sideways. I don't know if he wanted to pit, but he couldn't because that 24 was sideways across there. That's too bad for Farrell because ultimately doing okay, was moving forward. We saw him in a couple battles there, but going to have a little bit of damage here. I was just about to say it's a tough pit road to get down to, and we've seen some issues now. Meanwhile, we talked about it. Just one lap difference. Josh Chin did a great job on his out lap and was able to take advantage of those tires. He has the lead now over Carpenter as far as between the two of them, but we still have Movic out there and a few others that are running this a little bit longer here, just trying to stretch the fuel window as far as possible.
There is about a 2 seconds of fall off between the best lap that these drivers have run at the start of this race and what they were running at the end of that run on those older tires. So Josh Chin elected to come down a lap early and get those fresh tires earlier on, has been able to leapfrog Kendall Carpenter and set himself up into the lead here when everything cycles back out. So a excellent pit strategy call from Josh Chin to get the lead at the midpoint of this race.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens here with, ultimately Movic here leading this race. We have Brett Bennett in second. Griffin Jones is going to hit pit road now. Levi Wolf. These drivers that are running this a little bit long here, I think they're just kind of hoping for a caution. And what's unique about Indy, just like we had at Pocono a handful of weeks ago, is where you can pit and still keep your lap. You don't lose a lap here. So these drivers that are running long, even if you don't get the caution before you hit pit road here, if you make pit road and then there's a caution later, you may have the option to stay out then and gain your track position that way. But like you said, there's a lot of fall off here, so I think they're hoping for a caution, sooner rather than later, just so that way they can potentially get some tires and try to move forward that way. But this is ultimately an opportunity for Josh Chin once this cycles through to take this lead, and I wonder how his car will be different. He's spending that whole long green flag run behind Carpenter. Now being out in clean air, will that give him some life and learn a little bit different, and be able to maybe match those lap times of Carpenter or even better them. We'll see.
Well, I mean, you saw in that last run how Josh Chin 3 different times ran down Kendall, got to his rear bumper, got within 1 to 2 car lengths, but just could not set up a pass. And I think that's just from getting aero tight up behind somebody. So now that Josh Chin's got the track position, if Carpenter can run him down, can Chin hold him off in the same fashion to where Carpenter can't even set up a pass because the car gets too tight entering the corner and he can't get a run off to draw alongside and set himself up. So a good strategy call here by Josh Chin. We're going to have to see if he can hold on to it with pitting a lap earlier. Will he have the same tire life at the end of this run to be able to hold off the likes of Carpenter and everyone else? That will be the big question.
And Chin was 0.2 faster, so even just a lap older tires this last run, he did run 0.2 faster than Carpenter. So Carpenter obviously maybe saving a little bit, or just feels his style maybe is to use it in a little more sparingly, as Chin is maybe just trying to keep the gap as big as possible right now with the fresh tires. So it'll be fun to see if this goes green, how far how the distance will manage through this green flag run. Shulcheski out front, good for him to get some laps led here. We were kind of thinking about 30 laps here, so 33 with that caution to start this race. Gonna run another lap here, it looks like, at least. don't blame him.
Yep, stay out, get you some TV time there, John. Good on him to lead some laps here at Indianapolis. I'll tell you one driver who did not make it out very well in this cycle of pit stops is Cole Fralick. He came in, I believe he was running third, Ross, prior to pit stops. He has fallen all the way to the 8th position. It'll be the 6th by the time everything cycles out, but still 3 positions lost. Sorry. Yeah, 3 positions lost in that pit cycle just from, I mean, you saw the difference between how softly he came onto pit road versus William Schmidt, who was right behind him, closed up immediately. And then it looked like he had a slower stop as well, a 15.2 second stop compared to everybody else in front of him was in the 14s. So that pit crew not on it on the first stop of the night for Cole Fralick, and he has gone backwards as a result.
Yeah, we talked about the running third there. Really was not far off of our first and second place, but then when they hit pit road, I noticed he was even farther back. So I just went back and looked, and the 2 laps before making his pit stop, he was about 0.6 slower than what he was running previous. So I don't know if there was an issue, if he got in the wall or what, but definitely the 2 laps before his pit stop were slower than what he was running. And, you know, I don't think you lose 0.6 just like that on a set of tires. So I think something maybe would have happened that before the pit stop that maybe brought him back a little bit, and then just compounded by maybe a slow pit stop or slow pit sequence. But yeah, definitely lost some ground there, and gonna have to try to get it back.
Braden Movick looking to try and flex those newer tires and get around the 17 of Nathan Chiani. That'll be for the 9th position here. This will be interesting to see because Chiani's got 7 lap old tires, and Braden Movick's got 4 lap old tires, and now he bombs it down into turn number 1, will make it stick and complete the pass. I was gonna say it'd be interesting to see how that aero effect would handle this difference in tires, but Braden Movick making it look easy to move himself back up into the 9th spot. He lost a little bit of ground after staying out for so long on that last green flag run. He's going to have a hill to climb to get back up to it, but he's got the tires and the pace to do it. He's already driven himself up from 21st. So an impressive run for Braden Movick, just keeps getting even better as he continues to click off positions here in the mid part of this race.
Yeah, it's just it's tough because you'd like to have, you know, maybe a little different strategy as far as tires, but then when you stay out on the old tires to get that strategy, you fall back so far that it takes a long time to gain that back. So we'll see if he does. Here's Mo Perry trying to unlap himself after that penalty. Shulcheski still out there. This was about 33 laps on this tank of fuel. He did pit on that first caution. Looks like he's coming down this time. So now we know, yeah, maybe about 34 laps is about as far as you could stretch it. And we'll have to see if that's something that anyone's willing to do on the second run here, or if we get a caution here in the next 10 to 12 laps if that fuel window gets maximized in any way.
Ross, if you're John Shulcheski, you've just now pit. It's lap number 38 out of 80. The pace hasn't been there. Obviously, he was hanging around in the back, got caught up in that lap 1 wreck that happened for the last 5 cars in the pack. So the pace hasn't been there for John, but he got himself up into the lead via just staying out. If you're the driver of that 18 car and we're this close to halfway, do you try and clutch it and fuel save for 42 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
I mean, I do, but I don't know if it's a winning strategy. But what I do think though is we talked about, you don't lose a lap when you pit, especially obviously from the lead, and that's what he just did. He just hit pit road, gets his fresh tires. He's about a I don't know, about a straightaway ahead of these leaders now with his fresh tires. So it's a great Hail Mary, because if, I was kind of thinking if he was wishing for a caution, it's when he's down on pit road there. You want that caution right when you're on pit road, force all these other drivers that already made their stop to either decide they're going to stay out on older tires or come down and get tires, and you can jump them that way. He's going to have another chance at that now because he ran long, to do the same and run long here on this run. I don't think he's going to make it. Even if you clutch it, you maybe could make it, but it's probably not going to be a race-winning strategy, but it would be a lot. So I think that if anything, he's going to try to run this. I hope he runs it as far as he can, and just hopes for a caution. You get a caution that last 10 laps. I think it could give you a chance to compete for a great finish, or maybe even a win, depending on when it falls.
I would love to see it happen. Let's see the likes of John Szulczewski trying to back his way into a win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've reached the halfway point in the race. We'll step aside for a quick break and come back and get you all caught up on all the action that we've missed. 40 laps down here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indianapolis 200.
Every day, the men and women of the U.S. Coast Guard protect our shores and serve our nation with strength, courage, and compassion. When they are in need, CGMA is here to help. They answer the call. We answer theirs. Coast Guard Mutual Assistance, helping our own.
What you got?
Us, man. Going all in. Gotta make up for last week.
Sounds risky.
I'm just gonna wing it.
Listen, gambling can be fun, but it's also risky. Here is some plays to make your sports betting safer. If you choose to gamble, set a budget, never chase your losses, and team up with a friend who can keep you accountable.
All right. Got the plays down.
That's more like it. For more plays to help keep gambling fun, visit responsibleplay.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
You quit smoking and thought,
You're right there.
That's that.
Wait.
But here's the thing about lung cancer.
Use the shovel and bucket of water.
By the
Remember?
time you see the symptoms,
drown, stir, drown,
it could be
feel.
too late.
Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
But
SmokeyBear.com.
there's a new scan
Brushed up
that
on
can
some tips
detect
before
lung
we
cancer
left.
early,
Don't want
when
to
it's
start a
more
wildfire,
acute.
right?
If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more.
Only
at
you
SavedByTheScan.org.
can prevent wildfires.
Back to the Indianapolis 200 here, the OSRL Premier Series, where we're on lap number 43, and everyone in the top 8 appears to have found a dancing partner. And Braden Lubbock just passed his and Spencer Madden up for that 5th spot. But Ross, if you look at this on a track map, you've got the 93 and the 20 for the lead. They've got a big gap back to the 52 and the 79 for 3rd and 4th. And then there's another gap back to these two in the 42 and the 6. And then another gap back to the 17 and the 15. Everybody's paired up here as we've hit the midway point of this run.
You say dancing partners are, paired up here, but I don't think that's very friendly. At least here I just saw the 17 and the 15. Kiani just kind of drove in there and kind of ran into the door of the 15 of Freilich. See both of them jumping on the chat, so some words had, but Kiani able to get away here. I think if Freilich could get a little closer, he maybe would have given him a tap back, but ultimately Kiani's going to get away here. But yeah, that's some great battles here and some rivalries throughout this league. You race for multiple weeks, you start to get to know your competitors and maybe maybe get a little frustrated with them at times too.
Oh, and then there's also the pair of the 33 and Isaac Johnson and Brett Bennett back behind Freilich and Kiani. I forgot to mention that one, but I just thought that was hilarious. We were coming back from break, and literally every pair of cars all the way back to the 11th spot, or rather the 10th spot. Sorry, so the top 10 were all paired up. It was very interesting to me. But Braden Muvick continues his march towards the front here. He has driven himself back up into the top 5, or rather, I say back up into the top 5. This is his first time cracking the top 5 tonight. And before long, he's going to be bearing down on William Schmidt for that 4th spot as we look on this battle for the 10th spot between Brett Bennett and Griffin Jones here as they flash across the line.
Some different tire strategies going on here too, so that that part of that was this battle of some of these drivers. All of a sudden they chase one down and then they make the pass, and that person on the older tires falls back to somebody else, where you're moving forward to the next guy. I think third to 8th right now is starting to slowly, kind of close back up as a group here. I think we could have a mess of a situation battling, from 3rd, 4th, and 5th on back here in the next handful of laps if it continues this way, as everybody just kind of on their strategies got spread out, but on different agendas. Now some of those agendas are colliding throughout this green flag run.
It seems like this is very much shaping up to be kind of like how a Darlington race goes, Ross, where you don't really race other people, you race the track and just kind of run your own race and preserve those tires as much as you can to just maintain a grip on this hot, slick surface that just chews up those rear tires here. As now Kendall Carpenter has gotten to the back of Josh Chin. The gap is as close as I've seen it get in this run. Can he make a move as they fire off into turn number 1? He's got good entry here, draws closer, but I mean, you can see the tight wash, the aero tight that gets dumped onto Kendall Carpenter's nose, especially right there in heading off into turn number 2, where Chin just starts walking the dog on him down the back straightaway.
And I think this magic number we saw with, we kind of talked about it. It's going to be a tire window rather than fuel window, just where the caution fell to start. Chin has some maybe a little bit of a connection issue there, but for Chin, you wanted to maybe keep this lead for another handful of laps. Maybe if you could get to 51, 52, or even 54, 55, I think that gives you the best opportunity to do exactly what you did on this last one. Pit on a similar lap, even if it's just a lap before or the same lap as Carpenter, and run the last run the same that you've done. And right now, if he gets past, then it's going to make that last run even tougher to try to beat Carpenter.
I'll tell you who's not having a tough run is Braden Muvick. He is just powered around the 79 of William Schmidt. Move Muvick up to the 4th spot and already drawing a bead on the 52 of Nolan Sanford, who has been having a very good night for himself. The driver of that 52 car, not someone we particularly see up in the top 5 consistently, but a good driver nonetheless, and he is making his voice, or making his presence known there in that real tree number 52, running in the 3rd position all night. I mean, he's going to have his hands full here with the 42 within a lap, maybe. Shoot, it might be down the back straightaway, Ross.
Gonna have an opportunity if you can just hit the corners the right way and go fresher tires here. Just gonna try to get a little lower in 1. Maybe try into 2. Yep. Really, Sanford's gonna just kind of give that opportunity to Movic. If you do it the right way there, and Sanford did a nice job, you don't lose a ton of momentum, and you're able to keep it going. And you see Schmidt wasn't really able to close in on these two, just because they kind of working together to let that play out the best they could through 1 and 2.
And that's really what you want, because you don't want to be given just caught side by side battling and bring William Schmidt right back up to you, which has happened quite a number of times for William Schmidt this evening. I've seen it, early on in the race when we have more drivers side by side. There were a lot of pairs of drivers that would get caught side by side down these straightaways, and William Schmidt specifically would just draw right up to the back of them and be right there, and that has allowed himself to put him in the position that he's in the top 5.
2-lap fresher tires here than Sanford in the 52, so you think that would be enough. Here we have just the 1-lap fresher tires on Carpenter. We did talk about it in this run. It did seem like he was saving his stuff early in the run, where Chin was maybe trying to expand that gap a little bit. With the 7, Mo Perry in the 31 has had an issue and is parked, I think, down on the apron entering pit road. Yeah. Sure what happened there.
He was trying to get that thing woed up. Stays on the racetrack. We're going to have to see if we can get a replay on that one. That was weird. As now Cole Freilich has hit pit road this time. That's very interesting, Ross. Freilich, obviously, he's hit that window that he can make it.
Yeah, I think this might have been just a quick decision by Freilich. You see Perry struggling there on the inside. He's not going to be down pit road. He's going to be slow. Do you hit pit road there if you're Freilich and hope that the caution comes out? If the caution would have came out as Freilich was hitting pit road, it would have been just the huge lottery ticket win. So I think that might have been a chance there. It looked like Perry just maybe get a little loose, got the wall and spun. I saw like it just was not moving on the inside, so I didn't know where he was, and it was right in the area where Chin and Carpenter had just went by. So I was like, I didn't see him, so he had to been down on the apron there. Just trying to get back going here, and thought maybe he'd just come to pit road, but once he stayed out, I just wonder if Freilich saw that and was like, okay, I'm pitting here just in case a caution comes out, because it would be a huge moment in this race if you were able to get to pit road and get that yellow while you're on pit road. That could cycle you right to the lead, and if you're Freilich, that would have been a great opportunity. A guy that's fast enough to potentially take that track position and win from it.
Because that's really what this race has been all about, is the track position. As Braden Movic's really been the antithesis of that, but for these two fighting up at the top here, woo, big moment there for Kendall Carpenter. Manages to keep it gathered up, but he's going to lose a little bit of time to Josh Chin as they flash back across the line. 54 laps complete here in Indianapolis this time. So, all right, see, now, Ross, a lot of other guys are starting to come down pit road as well. William Schmidt has hit pit road. Nolan Sanford, the 52, is in the barrier.
I hate to say it, but he hit pit road, unfortunately. Yeah, got the wall there while coming down to pit road. That's too bad. Just having a great run up in the top 4 there. Man, just a tough. We saw it that first pit stop cycle. All the issues. Now we're seeing the 79 of William Schmidt having a speeding penalty. It looks like, so it's just a tough break for some of these drivers as they hit pit road.
Both of those drivers having great runs up inside the top 5. You're going to get a good look at William Schmidt's entries here. I mean, whoo. How much of that can you blame on Nolan Sanford? Because if I'm William Schmidt, I'm blaming that on the spinning car in front of me, to be honest with you. That's going to mess up my braking coming down from 170 miles an hour to what I believe is a 55 mile an hour pit lane.
A lot of these drivers are
unfortunate.
They're trying to use all of that slow down as possible, and if you're coming down, you're slow, and you're watching it and getting as close as you can. He was right at the line there too when Sanford was
Caution
spinning.
flag is out on the raceway. Mo Perry stopped again on the back straightaway. He had just come down to receive service. He was having a great run, but it all ends with no bumper and an engine that is just gone. He'll lift that car home around the pit road here. An unfortunate end to a night that started off so well for Mo Perry. Now, Ross, what do you do?
Yeah, this is interesting timing here. To talk about, we'll see maybe what happened to Mo Perry. Really, just kind of the snowball night where the issues continued to compound after the penalty on the first green flag pit stop, and the spin coming down off of 4 this time at the wall. And again, it just seemed like his every time he's gotten the wall, it's been pretty easy to just spin that car out. And I think that's just you don't get a lot of practice pulling your car off of the wall, and you don't know how it's going to react sometimes. And unfortunately, both times tonight went for a spin, and this time it's going to bring out the caution. I think obviously Chin and Carpenter are coming down. They still haven't made their pit stop. Movic is going to also be on the same set of tires, same strategy as them, now in third. So a great opportunity for him to just kind of be on even ground. But I'm going to throw out a couple names here. I think we have some lottery ticket winners with Spencer Madden and Nathan Kiani. They both just hit pit road the last handful of laps. I think there's a chance both of them potentially stay out here and try to grab some track position. We'll see if that happens. We saw Freilich pit a handful of laps ago too. It looks like he fell a lap down though. So we'll have to see where this cycles out. But a couple drivers are going to have a chance here in Madden and Kiani to be able to jump up there and grab some track position and battle Chin and Carpenter and Movic here.
Let's watch this pit sequence here, because Kendall Carpenter is going to be looking to try and get out in front of Josh Chin and get that track position back from the 93, who had leapfrogged him on the last pit cycle under green, now under yellow. We'll see who can get it done. And it looks like, oh my gosh, who's going to get it? None of them. Neither of them get it. They get all three. They get passed by 3 drivers. That was amazing.
Yeah, great job by Movic to be able to I thought when he pulled out of the pit stop, the other 2 there and Johnson, I'm not sure who the other one there was, Bennett. I was like, man, I don't know if he's gonna get those 2 beat, let alone have a chance at Carpenter and Chin. And then sure enough, got to the end of pit road and was there. This is gonna be fun to watch this battle here. Now I see Carpenter stopped on the backstretch. And now rolling again. Not sure what's going on there.
Probably some technical difficulties, but it looks like he's got it righted again. We'll have to see if he gets his positions back. As you look at this pit battle off of pit road, the 20 and the 93 just could not get those tires gripped up coming out of the pit box, and it cost them both 3 spots. And it might be costing Carpenter more spots, to be honest with you. What is happening with that 20 car? Because it looks like he's caught the field.
Unless it was a tail end for something. If it was a improper exit or something. I don't know what that would have been. Potentially that caused him to, I just saw that he had stopped on the backstretch, and I don't know if that was an issue or potentially maybe he just was doing it because he had to fall back. I don't know. You talked about we saw the 5 of them exiting pit road. You don't know if maybe through that chaos and getting through that, did he, cross a line too early exiting pit road or something? I'm not sure. We may have to find out post-race what happened there, but unfortunate break for a guy that had a great chance to win, and now Joshua Chin, the other guy that had an awesome opportunity to win this race, is back in 6th. And you got 4 or 5 drivers here, all with a new life and an opportunity to win this race. There's still 22 laps to go, so I think these 5 drivers are all going to be pretty hungry up near the front here that have an opportunity here. They're all going to be pretty aggressive here, but you got to know there's still potential for a long run if we get this going green here. So don't go too crazy on your tires and burn them up and get put in a bad position if we do get this running green. I think we may have some other opportunities at some yellows, though. We'll see what happens with this pack as they get back going here.
Spencer Madden will lead the field to green with Nathan Kiani to his outside. They've got 6-lap-old tires and 4-lap-old tires, respectively. They're the only 2 who stayed out. Everyone else is on fresh rubber and is going to be hungry. Look, you can already see the accordion effect starting to happen as we get the overhead cam. Pace car dives onto pit lane. Away goes Madden. He's going to leave Kiani in the dust, and that's going to bring Braden Mubbock on those fresh tires, who's had speed all night coming from the back of the pack up to the front. That's going to bring him to 2nd. They'll fire off into turn number 1, single file.
Great job by Madden to grab that lead. Nice start. It just seems like whoever's has the opportunity to get clear can kind of pull away here, and really has Mubbock going to kind of just hold his ground here, try to keep Kiani behind and have a chance to chase back down. Chin to the inside of Johnson here, entering 3. Johnson goes for a big slide, and they're going to get kind of single file pretty much 1st through 8th. Kiani, a big move off of 3 there. Just big slide. That's going to stack him up on exit.
I mean, a move from Josh Chin to be able to, get around Kiani, who slides right up into Isaac Johnson. That's going to send both of them backwards into the front nose of Brett Bennett, who's going to get them both here. It looks like, woo, big moment there as Isaac Johnson tags the back of the 06. They keep it together, but this is allowing that front 4 to get away as the rest of these guys are really starting to stack up here, Ross, as they head off of turn number 2.
Yeah, I think that was, this is just a product of Kiani's big moment. Nice recovery to kind of gather it back up and get going here and take control of 4th, but now it's just brought Bennett back to Johnson here and Wolf, and then here comes Jones in that 53. Handful of drivers that running outside of the top 10 tonight. Now on the back half of this top 10, going to try to get some track position right now, all bunched up, and try to throw that into a good finish potentially.
Boy, the stack-ups that this just creates. The top 4 have all spread out, but behind Brett Bennett, everyone is tucked nose to tail. And now Isaac Johnson looks for a move underneath the 06 of Brett Bennett, fires it down in there. Bennett comes down to pinch and cover the spot so he doesn't get that good of a run off the corner. But Isaac Johnson's going to hold serve here. Where does Griffin Jones go? He's got to run now. He'll pull up to the back bumper of the 33 car, then think better of it, tuck back in line, and run a little wide now. That opens the door for the 7 of Levi Wolf, who takes a peek inside and can't complete the pass. Big moments here. Ooh, Carpenter and Freilich almost got together back there in the back. That's for the 11th spot. Both of them trying to come back through the field after having issues on that last pit cycle. They're almost getting together. 2 guys who are not comfortable hanging around back there. Caution flag is out. We got a spin. John Daniels, heavy contact. Levi Wolf gets sent up and into the fence, tumbling over and over. Caution flag is out. Lap number 62. I got distracted by the people at the back.
We saw the stack up, kind of that mid portion of the top 10. I think it was Bennett and Griffin Jones that were battling into turn 1, and I think Jones just went up the track, got into Bennett, and that just no place to go here for the 7 of Wolf, who's I guess maybe gets pushed into it from Is that Daniels in the 02 behind
Yeah,
him?
that was John Daniels in the 02 who didn't check up for Levi Wolf, who, I mean, understandably hitting the brakes for the spinning car in front of him. And it looks like Cole Fralick got involved in that. He has had to tow back to pit lane. I mean, this is just the wreck that never ends, Ross. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars that go sliding up into here. Oh, and Fralick is the one who sent the 7 up into the fence there. Just ramped it over to the 4 of Harrington and sends the 7 up into the outside catch fence and tumbling back onto the racetrack. A bad night turned worse for Cole Fralick as it ends with him sitting on pit road. We ride on board here. I mean, nothing that you can do for Cole Fralick. That's just a bad spot. What do you do in that scenario?
Yeah, I'm just kind of clearing my mind, not knowing what I do know about the incident and just being in his view there and kind of thinking, well, it looks like they're maybe spinning off the corner. You kind of expect, well, they probably will go down the track. They're kind of down in the grass. You don't know that the 7 is spun all the way around and going to basically go up the track. Not that, Levi and the 7 is did that on purpose, of course, but that the car's just out of control and it's going to go up the track. You just don't know that because you can't really see, especially with these narrower corners, and then the fact that everybody's kind of bunched together. It just was no place for Fralick to go and can't really see there where he's going. So handful of drivers, including Spencer Madden, who was leading this race, have hit pit road now. We have at least 2 sets of tires for most of these drivers in the pits yet. So coming down and getting tires here, you still have another set if you want them later. But interesting kind of split strategy as Spencer Madden came down. Kendall Carpenter, who we saw was trying to move back up to the field, going to grab tires here. But Movick is now going to inherit the lead, and Chin is going to be back up to second for the first time since that pit stop under green.
Well, the run that Braden Movick has had to get himself up to this lead is nothing short of remarkable. He started in the 21st position, and through sheer speed and a little bit of a strategy call here to stay out and preserve a set of tires, he finds himself leading this race with what's going to be probably 15 laps to go when we go green. And he's going to have the predominant winner and championship leader, Josh Chin, breathing down his neck on this restart. An incredible drive from Braden Movick.
And it's not far off from the night he had at Pocono back on November 13th when we called the last race with this series, where he started in the back, started 19th there, and drove all the way up. Of course, we had a few less cautions at Pocono, but a very similar racetrack, and he drove all the way up to third, was just a couple seconds back of those leaders. And we talked to him after the race. He said, I think a handful of laps, I could have done it. I could have drove all the way and did it without, the cautions falling and get him the track position that way. Tonight, it's the other way. It is these cautions that have given him the opportunity. I'm not, taking away from the drive he's had, because he really drove all the way up to the top 3 under green tonight. But now he has this opportunity. Maybe racing gods are returning it from Pocono, where he was hoping there was a little bit more laps. Tonight, he's going to have a chance to battle up front here, and on the same strategy as everybody. Like we said, he's run long and had the faster tires, but no track position and having to battle back from that. It'll be fun to see if it's him and Chin, or even any of these drivers battling, how he does just kind of straight up, because he hasn't had that opportunity so far tonight, just being on the different strategy.
I'll tell you another driver I want to shout out is Isaac Johnson there in the 33. He qualified in the 8th position, so it started inside the top 10. But, we saw him in the wall multiple times, getting doored, beaten, banged up all over this racetrack. almost losing it a couple times, and he still finds himself in the 4th position. So a heck of a drive from Isaac Johnson to keep it up in the top 5 here. With it's going to be 15 laps to go at the end of this when we get back to green. Ross, what are you thinking? Do we have more carnage on the horizon, or can we keep it green all the way to the end?
I think there's a chance of the carnage that you're speaking of, but I also think that these guys know that they want to get this rolling here because it takes some work to make some passes. So if you don't get them right away on the restart, you want all those laps to make a run at it.
Green flag is back out. Braden Mubbock fires off from that lead. They're already wrecking in the back. That's Marty Farrell up in the outside wall. Caution flag is out up on the nose of John Daniels. That carnage hit a little bit sooner than what I thought, Ross.
We're trying to finish off that caution period with another incident. We talked about the stack ups, and then also just, you also have some different tires. I think the 02 of John Daniels there just got a little squirrely with the cold tires, or at least getting on the gas, and unfortunately clipped the 24, and they both get sent to the wall.
Those were the last 2 drivers on the older tire of the guys who stayed out. Everyone else behind them had new tires. Everyone else in front of them had those same 10-lap old tires that those 2 had. And unfortunately, John Daniels could not keep it underneath him when he put that gas pedal to the floor. And it ends up taking out Marty Farrell, unfortunately. Heavy contact to the nose of that 24 car as they both end up sitting on that outside wall, not even making it to the start-finish line. We will re-rack and re-stack here with probably 12 laps to go.
I think it's just also like that 02 Daniels, getting on the gas, and the car jumps out, the tires being old. I think he almost had it saved once, and then the second time I think he was gonna probably have it saved, but just needed a little bit more track. And Marty Farrell was there, so it just, not that Farrell was in the wrong spot. He was just running his lane, but that's just, I think in that moment, the way you have to try to grab the car to save it in that moment, you just kind of turned to pull it back, and unfortunately the 24 was there, and they both went. And it's really easy on these old tires. I say it's really easy. It's really easy to get jumped by the drivers behind you, so it makes being out on those old tires really tough. It's so tough because that those drivers behind are they're not going to give you a break. There's too many. There's not a lot of laps left, and too much on the line to wait for you to get your car straightened up on old tires, and it's so tough. So you're always on the edge there, knowing that you got to nail the start when you're on those old tires, especially with the fresh ones right behind. So, yeah, I don't blame any issues that come up. It's just an unfortunate situation.
Well, if you're one of those guys who took tires on that pit stop, that's exactly the opposite of what you wanted to see. You wanted this race to run green so you could have as many laps as you could to run down all these guys on older tires. And now, guys like Spencer Madden, Kendall Carpenter, Nolan Sanford, they're going to have 11 laps to go when we get back green, if they can stay green, to slice and dice their way through this top 6 who have stayed out on older tires. Braden Mubbock leads the field around in turn 3. At this point, everyone who is on pit road is repairing damage from previous wrecks. As it looks like we will receive the 1 to go signal this time. So it will be 11 laps to go when we take the green flag next time by. Braden Mubbock leads. He will choose the outside lane, as all the leaders have done, I believe, tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong. Josh Tinn takes the inside. Then you've got Nathan Kiani, Isaac Johnson, Gavin Newton, and Brett Bennett, all on 13-lap old tires. Everyone else behind them, Spencer Madden, Kendall Carpenter, Griffin Jones, Nolan Sanford, rounding out your top 10 on, quote, fresh tires, because all of this has been under pacing. Setting up for a mad sprint to the finish, Ross.
One guy that I think going to be a long shot, but obviously kind of getting a second chance here. You know, we've seen this top lane kind of go and do a great job. If the drivers on that top lane can do a great job and follow that 42, that might give an opportunity for Kendall Carpenter to get back in this. You know, obviously being one of the drivers that came down on pit road before this last quick caution. So he has some fresher tires. No one in front of him on that outside lane has fresher tires than him. So if that line gets going, he could potentially, by the time we get through 1 and 2, be one of the drivers with the fresher tires. I don't think it's a huge advantage. We had a lot of these drivers down on lap 56, but I still think it'll be a little bit of an advantage, just a matter of can they, you know, use those tires and have enough laps to get there. I still think I'd rather be one of these leaders, but we'll see. There's maybe some second life here for Carpenter or any of those drivers with the fresh tires to try to get this.
Braden Movick did choose the inside lane last time. We'll see how the outside lane handles here as he scoots away, fired out of a cannon. They're slipping and sliding back there again, back behind in the mid pack there. Kendall Carpenter got all up underneath Brett Bennett as Braden Movick scoots away. Now the top 4 have single filed out. Top 5 now. Carpenter underneath Madden now for the 6th spot. He's trying to make moves. He knows it's go time, and everyone else knows it too. Here in the back, they're 2 by 2 through the mid pack here as they fire down the back straightaway.
Yeah, all those fresh tires are kind of battling each other, which has given the drivers that didn't pit the opportunity to kind of get away. Like I said, I don't think it's a huge difference in tires just because it's just a couple laps, but still, if that's the frustrating part. If you have those fresh tires, you want to get clear here and try to get away and try to start working on these drivers. We got a battle here with Sanford and Bennett. They're the only side-by-side battle here in the top 10, it looks like. Just trying to get all they can here with under 10 to go.
And they'll still stay side by side. Now Brett Bennett will power around the outside of Nolan Sanford and take that spot as he looks on. Kendall Carpenter still trying to work over Spencer Madden in that 6th spot in the 6th car. He'll have to tuck back in line as we have reached 10 to go here at Indianapolis.
And oh man, gonna get the wall. Bennett did 2 back there. That's gonna give Carpenter the opportunity to move up here into 6th. But just, you know, given everything they got here, and we've seen that, you know, all throughout the night tonight, you use up all of the track. And in this moment with just a handful of laps to go, you're going to use it all and maybe even get the wall here.
Ooh, big moment there. The 17 of Nathan Kiani, the 33 of Isaac Johnson battling for that 3rd spot. They were door to door and running up the racetrack here, and that's going to bring everyone else back right to their rear bumper. That's the 48 of Gavin Newton. How many times have we said Gavin Newton's name tonight? He's making his presence known here in the top 5, but he's currently under siege from the 20 of Kendall Carpenter on those new tires. Here comes the 20 now down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try and get 2 in 1 set of corners here, as now he's down to the inside of Nathan Kiani.
Great battle here. If Carpenter get, just right here, you've kind of stalled the momentum of that 17. You're going to have an opportunity, but we've seen that top lane do, a great job. Just I think Carpenter may have the edge here. Drive in there a little deeper. Meanwhile, up front, our battle for the lead is heating up.
Kiani's not done, though. He's going to go for the crossover move. Down in turn number 2, not going to be able to make it stick, as now here comes Madden in the 6th car to try and fill the spot. Carpenter scoots away. He's going to set his sights on the 33 of Isaac Johnson. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Josh Chin is breathing down Braden Movick's neck here, trying to take the high line around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Make sense of that one here. 8 laps to go. Coming to the line will be 7. Does Movick have enough to hold off the championship leader, who has been so dominant this season, the most wins on the season? But Movick knows it's his time.
I'll tell you this, I think Josh Chin is using that top lane, especially in 2 and 4. We'll see what he does here in 2. I'm gonna follow Movick this time. I definitely think that top lane there's a little bit of speed there, even though it's way up there. You're probably using up a lot of your stuff doing it, but man, I like it. It gave him a heck of a run both times, even trying to get to the outside of that 42. I think there's opportunity there. You use up your tires here, because you're not going to get a long run here with only 7 laps to go. Why not try it?
Boy, last time through 3 and 4, William Schmidt that was through 1 and 2. William Schmidt made a pass 3 wide on the top side here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That never happens. Only in iRacing would you see something like that. William Schmidt on the move here, as he has now passed Gavin Newton for the 7th place spot. As now we look back up towards the front, as Movick started to stretch that lead out once again on Josh Chin. Josh is probably trying to save a little bit of tire to make one more go at it. He knows he's only got one more shot, trying to cool those tires off for one more move, as it'll be 5 laps to go when they cross the stripe this time.
I think you need to be a little bit closer. Isaac Johnson be getting the wall a little bit back in 3rd there. It's giving Carpenter an opportunity to look to the inside, but Chin using this outside lane here and then kind of cutting down on exit. Sometimes it's just hard to get it to cut back down, especially just with that 42 in front of you there. Right here, nice job cutting here. Just not close enough to maybe use the momentum in the draft to close up. Gonna maybe close a little bit. Still too far back.
Boy, Kendall Carpenter is just getting frustrated. You can see it in his driving style. He cannot clear the 33 of Isaac Johnson. Even with his fresher tires, just Isaac's holding the top side and pinching the 20 down. He can't get the run off of the corner. They stay side by side, and then Isaac just powers around on the inside because Kendall doesn't have the run in. Isaac, doing a masterclass of holding one of the best drivers in this field in Kendall Carpenter at bay. In under 10 laps to go, now Josh Chin draws another bead up to the back bumper of Braden Movick. Does he have anything for him when they go down the back straightaway this time? It looks like Movick got a little better of a run back down the back straightaway. So Chin fades again just a little bit, comes up short with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Movick used the outside lane on entering turn 1 that last time. Maybe kind of surprised Chin a little bit, but he drove it in there deep, just giving him the opportunity on that inside, and I just think it just kind of hurt Joshua Chin's exit here through 3 and 4. They kind of go back to their original, and now, kind of their original plan as they were the handful of laps before this, and it really just has lost Chin a little bit of breathing room here. So this is about the farthest he's been back for a handful of laps now. With 3 to go here, I just don't know if he has enough, and if he's going to have one more chance at it, going to have to get close enough to then have an opportunity.
A half second back now for your championship leader on Braden Movick. Now the gap starts to shrink once again. A good turn 2 for Josh Chin. Can he continue that momentum and draw back up to the back bumper of that 42 car? He's driving so hard. You can see it. He tagged the wall there out of 3 that time, trying to use every inch of this racetrack to get back up to Braden Movick, but nothing doing this time. There'll still be a half-second gap when they cross the stripe. 2 to go this time.
That Movick was just a little bit faster than Chin. I think 1 and 2, the Chin's got a little bit better opportunity, but just loses it kind of a little bit in 3 and 4. This is a 3-wide battle.
They're going to wreck into turn number 2. Sanford gets spinning down. Caution flag is out. Levi Wolf gets tagged once again. And we will go to a green-white checkered. That is not what Braden Movick wanted to see. And that's probably exactly what Josh Chin wanted to see. Because now he gets to regroup, take a deep breath, and say, all right, it's go time.
You got to wonder, now that we've ran some laps, everybody has another set of tires. I think there's a great chance that almost everybody comes down here and we have to go through the pit stop. So we saw Movick do a great job on pit road under caution previously. Does anybody... I don't know. We'll see. I would lean towards you almost have to pit, but then if you're some of those drivers that maybe pitted on lap 63, could you try to gamble here and stay out? This was a heck of a battle to go 3 wide here. Bennett tried the middle there. And I thought all three of them were going to slide there and save it, but the 52, unfortunately, Sanford just too far gone to be able to catch it, and Levi Wolf's going to get another moment here down in 1 and 2. This one not as bad as the last one, but still going to get some damage.
Really unfortunate for Nolan Sanford. He had, such a great race. Was inside the top 5 for almost the entire thing until this last kerfuffle of cautions, if you will. And found himself back in the snake pit. And he got bit and sent around there in turn number 2. Unfortunately, got caught racing. And that's why you don't see 3 wide at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Ross.
Yeah. Great, like I said, a great battle. It's just tough. And then, imagine some of these leaders that were Isaac Johnson. I think, maybe you want a chance to battle for this lead, but maybe he would have been happy with the podium. We're going to see Movick going to stay out. Now Chin, everybody going to, at least the top 5 or 6 going to stay out. We're going to see some near the back come down here.
I think that's very interesting. Like, if you're Josh Chin, why not do the opposite of what Movick does? Is the risk, you think the risk of everyone else staying out behind you? Josh Chin's got enough of a name in this league. He could probably, I would have wagered that if he came down, everybody else was following him down too. This will be very interesting when we get going green once again.
And I don't know, you talked about it at the top of the show. We have 5 races to go. You're Joshua Chin. You have a nice points lead. It's not done yet. Obviously, you got to kind of mind your P's and Q's here and make sure that you don't give up a ton of points to Carpenter. So I don't know if that was part of that decision. Obviously, on that run there, he was doing everything he could to try to get to Movick there. Getting in the wall even. I don't think the points lead was something he was thinking about, but when you get to this moment here and okay, if I drop to the even mid-pack with fresh tires and I'm driving through and I get caught up in a mess, that could potentially then cause problems for the championship. I don't know. I don't know if that's something Joshua Chin's thinking about. I think he's probably still focused on this win here. And who knows? This restart, he's had a couple opportunities up near the front row, almost on a majority of the restarts tonight. Maybe he feels confident that we saw it on the old tires are part of this. Confident that he can get a good restart and give Movick a run into 1 and 2. We'll have to see. I'm excited to see how it goes. I think those drivers with the fresh tires are going to have a little bit more advantage compared to the fresh tires that we had on the previous restart. Just don't know if there's enough time with it just being a overtime green-white checker.
Well, this will be the first attempt of 3 attempts at the green-white checkered. If we don't get it after 3, that caution, that flag will end the race. as it looks like Braden Movick will elect to take the inside lane on this restart. Very interesting how he's kept it. Kept mixing it up on Josh Chin, keeping him on his toes. He will line up on the inside. Josh Chin to the outside. Isaac Johnson still having a phenomenal run tonight in the third spot. Kendall Carpenter. You got the two championship rivals here in Josh Chin and Kendall Carpenter. They will be lined up nose to tail with William Schmidt to the outside as well, right behind Carpenter in sixth. Nathan Keani starts fifth. So all your championship heavyweights lined up on the outside here for this first attempt at the green-white checkered.
Mention Isaac Johnson, 122 starts in this league, the OSRL series, only second to Mo Perry as far as starts, and still looking for that first win. So you never know here. You get Movick and Chin battling, Carpenter in there. Could Isaac Johnson grab that first long-awaited first win?
I'm sure it would be a popular one. Everybody loves to see a tenured veteran such as Isaac Johnson get his first win, especially having to wait so long for one. So let's go ahead and manifest us a Isaac Johnson victory. How about it, Ross?
Yeah, that'd be fun. See what happens on this restart. This is going to be crazy, and will it be the only one?
Pace car dives onto pit lane. Fields in the control of Braden Movick. He's away with a shot. Green flag is back out. Carpenter is lifting the wheels off the ground of Josh Chin going down into turn number one, trying to get him every push that he can. But Braden Movick has opened up a 2-car length advantage. Headed off into turn number one. Through the short chute and down into turn number two. Josh Chin has cleared Isaac Johnson for second. Here comes Kendall Carpenter for third. They're wrecking in the back all the way down on the apron. Like, can Madden keep it together? I don't think he can.
Down in the grass, I think we'll stay green. He was running eighth. Tough break for him. Keani was sixth. All those guys went for a big slide. Can Movick get back to the white here with no yellow right now? Pretty much everybody racing hard, but no one out of line. Carpenter gets the wall a little bit in third, but to the white flag.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go here for Braden Movick. Got a 5-car length advantage on the championship leader in Joshua Chin. Kendall Carpenter trying to bear down on that leader and cut into his championship lead. Can he make it back to the driver of the 93? Meanwhile, in the back, it's a mad scramble there for about the 8th through 12th position. Brett Bennett, Griffin Jones, Gavin Newton, all drivers that we've mentioned here tonight, scrapping through the back. Carpenter trying to draw a beat up to Josh Chin. Does he have anything for him through turn number 4? He will not get there this time. Braden Movick started 21st on the evening, all the way in the back, didn't even set a qualifying lap. He will come home to claim the checkered flag here at Indianapolis after 200 miles at the Brickyard. Congratulations, Braden Movick, your winner here tonight. What a drive from the driver of that number 42 car, Ross. I mean, pure pace and a little bit of strategy call. I mean, we had some split decisions here tonight with the tires. Got himself up to the lead and never looked back.
I think a couple things just stand out. Like, obviously, like we talked about, it's similar to Pocono, where starting in the back and kind of just take your, the entire race to move forward and work at it and run long. I love that strategy. I love the having the fresh tires and using them to your advantage and making all your passes out on the racetrack. But then just second half of the race, because of that strategy, it set him up where the cautions fell right to give him the best opportunity to then. We saw the great moment on pit road where he was able to grab a couple positions there over Carpenter and Chin. That was a huge moment. And then I think the other part of this is holding off Chin on that green flag run that was a handful of laps there before the end, and then once you have the caution, to make the decision to stay out and nail the restart and run that green-white checker. Just a kind of all around perfect on all facets to win this race. Great job by Muvik, and he's going to be able to celebrate here on the front stretch.
He will burn it down. Braden Muvik. It's that elusive first win on the season, if I'm not mistaken. He hasn't won yet this season, right? Yes, right, Ross?
Correct. Yes, he has not won this season. So first win for season 10 here for the 42.
As he burns it down on the front stretch, let's go ahead and bring in our third place driver, the guy who dominated the first third of this race. Chapter 1 was all Kendall Carpenter. Kendall, it seemed like track position was everything, and you had it there at the beginning, but once you lost it, how hard was it to get back up there and fight for that lead?
Very hard. Derriere was it was awful. Even with fresher tires, just getting stuck behind. I was stuck behind Isaac there. I couldn't get past him. I just that bubble. I'll get a run and they'll just stall. I just can't get side by side either turn 1 or turn 3. So yeah, it was pretty tough. Pretty tough.
It certainly seemed like it. I mean, it's like you would yo-yo with Josh back and forth once you got up to him, and then you'd fall back, and then you got up to him and you fell back. I'm sure it was incredibly frustrating inside the car. I want to go back to I forget which pit stop, what point in the race it was, or what lap number it was, but everybody came down for a pit stop, and then you and Shin took tires and then got leapfrogged by 3 other guys. Take us through that mentality of, I believe you got a penalty on that pit sequence. Take us back through that, and then having to charge back up through the field to come home to this third place finish.
Well, it's funny because before that, when that caution came out, I was literally coming out of 4 with Josh. I was going to pit. I was going to short pit, leapfrog him back. And the caution came out literally the worst time. I was like, darn, I was just about to pit. And then, yeah, I sped. I was just trying a little too hard on entry. I was gearing on 61 miles an hour, and they got me. And from there, I was just, in comeback mode, trying to get what I could. The next caution came out. I took tires then, and that kind of helped me get an advantage so I can get past some of those guys a little bit quicker. But once I got up to 4th and 3rd, it was just a chore trying to get by those guys.
I mean, it sure seemed like it, man. You were fighting tooth and nail. I didn't know if you were going to get Isaac Johnson there at the end. It looked like he had a little bit of a slip up there. You were having to fight him like a dog for that third place spot. That was a heck of a battle to watch. I have to assume that once again goes with the just the aero wash and getting tight up underneath somebody.
Yeah, with this car, how it is opposed to the old Gen 4 car with the aero and the tires work very differently. There's not a lot of fall off, and tires don't matter as much now as they did previously. Previously, if you had like 5 laps, you took tires and had the tire advantage, you could just blow by people. It's not the case anymore, especially if you can keep someone behind you in your wake. It's just very, very hard to pass. So yeah, I was just battling. I didn't think I was going to get there. I was praying for a caution to come out, and luckily that did happen, and I was able to get through that way because I wouldn't have otherwise.
Well, it was a great battle to watch, and you ended up bringing it home on top in the 3rd place position. So congratulations once again. Looking ahead, we go all the way back down in size to Kern County. How are you feeling about that one, going a little short track racing next week?
I'm curious how it's going to go with this car. Especially, I guess aero shouldn't be a factor there, but we haven't. I guess we did do a couple of short tracks in the beginning of the season, but not to this extent. So I'm curious how that's going to go. Just trying to chase down Josh. I'm very upset. I thought maybe I can win, maybe I can close that gap a little bit more, but I think he's extended it back to where it was last week. So.
Yeah, the championship fight has been very interesting to watch. You try and chase down Josh Chin. 5 races left to do it. Do you think you can get it done here before we get to Las Vegas in a couple weeks' time?
Yeah, I need a little bit of luck on my side. I need Josh to finish down the order a little bit further. This whole him finishing one spot ahead or one spot behind that's what's killing me. If I keep doing this, I'm not going to be able to catch him. But I'm pretty optimistic. I'm working hard. I'm trying my darnest to get this championship. So we'll see.
Well, an optimistic Kendall Carpenter after finishing third here tonight in Indianapolis. Thanks so much for talking to us, Kendall. Before we let you go, do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run tonight?
Oh man, I just gotta thank I guess Cole Freilich for painting my race car, having it looking great on the racetrack for you guys for the broadcast, so you can show it off to everyone. So thank you guys.
Of course, well, we appreciate it. Thanks for talking to us, Kendall, and go enjoy your third place finish, buddy.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good one.
We'll see if we can grab our second place finisher here. Josh, you got a copy?
Yeah.
Coming home second tonight. I know you had some opportunities tonight with the battling, not just Muvik in the end there, but with second in points, Kendall Carpenter, who's been trying to chase you down here the last handful of weeks. But in the end, I think the restarts, it just seemed like the leader had the great opportunity to get away, and on a green-white checker, just not close enough. What did you need on that restart to have a shot at the 42 on those last two laps?
Really, I just needed to have a better pit stop at the midway point of the race. I think that would have been the difference, just holding on the lead. The lead was, it was huge. The leader basically could kind of control and do what they wanted. When I got the lead on the first pit stop, it was a massive difference not being in the dirty air, and especially the short run, you really have to have the clean air and get the car rotating. And without the pit stop and getting the lead, there was no way to do it.
You talk about like how important the lead was. Obviously, you made the decision on that green flag run, running second to jump to the pit road before Kendall did, and it got you the lead. I'm curious on that last restart there, on that last caution, if Muvik comes down, do you then stay out to grab the lead on that restart?
Oh yeah, I was 100% going to stay out if you pit.
I was kind of wondering on that, but yeah, it just seemed like throughout the night, yeah, obviously dirty air was part of it, but then once you got a little bit farther back, it's just hard to pass, and there's some moments of stack up. What's it like? How intense is that type of racing, where everybody's trying to hit their marks because you have to kind of be perfect here, but if you're not, then it creates a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, it's difficult. Not really having any draft like we used to. It's really tough to make moves on people, and the dirty air is really intense. Basically, everyone kind of got draft locked at 5/6 back from each other, and no one could really move around. Braden was the only one that moved, and a lot of that was just he ran different lines, and he took a pit stop at a different time on the first run than most everyone did. But otherwise, it's really hard to pass here, especially. The outside actually works pretty well here if you're stuck on the outside of someone. So you can kind of get that run off the corner and still stay with them. And you're doing that for four whole corners every lap on a flattish track. It costs everyone time. So it's just a super difficult track to pass at, which, it's part of the entertainment of it. It's not just to let everyone go every corner, but it's definitely difficult.
Well, tonight, second place run, obviously probably wanting to go for that win, but still, great points, leading this championship here with 4 races to go. We have Kern, Watkins Glen, Phoenix, Las Vegas, interesting mix the last 4 weeks. What's your outlook and obviously the goal of winning this championship?
I like the schedule coming up. Pretty much all the tracks have been good tracks for me. Watkins, I feel like, should be a win with how the road course went earlier in the season. And Phoenix, I enjoyed, run well there. Kern, I've run well here in the past. And Vegas being a mile and a half will be kind of interesting depending on the weather. But overall, I feel pretty good. I feel like Kern and Watkins, I can make a lot of points and kind of have things secure going into Phoenix and then not have to worry about Vegas.
Sounds good. We'll give you a chance to get any shout outs or thank yous that you want to recap your interview here. Go right ahead.
Big shout out to everyone, Team Hype, Power Slide, for getting in the IndyCar Pro tonight. I think we had 4 or 5 guys qualify tonight, and then Phil and Rob were already qualified. So shout out to those guys for making it through, and just thank you to everyone at OSRL that makes the races happen, and you guys for the broadcast when you're here.
We appreciate it. Thank you for putting on a show tonight, and we look forward to watching you compete the next 4 races.
Yep, thank you guys.
And last but certainly not least, we'll bring in our winner tonight from the 21st starting position, all the way at the back. Braden Movick comes home your winner. How are you feeling after that strong run through the field, Braden?
I'm just relieved I could finally win a race. It's been too long. I think my last win was like season 8 at California. It's been a long time. It's been a real long time. But man, I'm happy to get back to victory lane. I have such a fun racetrack in this car.
Well, welcome back to the booth, buddy. It's great to hear from you once again. This time in victory lane, where you should be. It seems like you really excel at these big, wide open tracks. You know, you mentioned Auto Club where you last won. You had a great run at Pocono, I believe it was. It said you only needed a couple more laps there, and you'd have had the victory there. Tonight, you get it done at Indianapolis. What is it about these big, wide open tracks that you love so much and that you excel at?
Man, I always ask myself that question too. I honestly think it's just I can be creative here. I just can run lines that nobody else does. Like here specifically, in turn 2, I was entering a full lane and a half shallower than everybody else, and I was hooking a curb in the middle of the corner, and I was getting 2 tenths faster than the entire field in that corner alone. While everyone else was, I mean, when I was coming through the field, I would notice no one was running below the white line. Nobody was. And I was like, what are we doing here? You're just giving me free air, first of all, which was massive because of how bad the dirty air is in this car. And yeah, you just gave me free air and you gave me my preferred lane. That was just making it easy for me. And it's the same thing at Pocono. Turn 3 at Pocono, it's something about tracks where I can enter super shallow and not lose a ton of time. Like I'm one of those people that love a shallow entry and just hooking the line, hooking a curb the whole way around the corner. I think just stuff like that. It's the same thing at Richmond too. Like at Richmond, I was running the Austin Dillon line, but like on crack, I was 3 lanes off the wall on the front stretch, and I was passing everybody. But yeah, I just love tracks where you can be creative. And honestly, when you think of Indianapolis, you don't really think creative. You think it's one line. There's only one way to be fast, but man, from all the races I've done here, it's definitely not the case. You can definitely open up your line, open up your notebook, and get creative with it. And that's what I love about this place.
It's all about the micro adjustments here. I mean, you might not see it from the booth or anything like that, and so I think that's where people get that connotation that it is just a one-lane racetrack. But you were making it work. I mean, we could see how low you were going, and then in some cases how high you were going. We had a lot of people running that second lane and making it work when they'd get 2x2. So a great run from you here tonight to bring home that checkered flag. I want to go back to that last green, white, checkered, where you had the option to pit and you elected to stay out, and everybody about back to 7th stayed out with you. Was there any doubt in your mind that you were going to stay out and not come down and get fresh rubber?
Oh, there was no doubt I was staying out because I experienced what pitting does against old tires. I think when that yellow came out that got me in front of Josh. So like I restarted 3rd, and the 2 in front of me had 30 lap old left side tires and fresh right side tires, and I was just stuck. The first 5 laps I was stuck behind a car on 30 lap old tires. So because first of all, like the car is just naturally super tight on cold tires, and it takes a really long time to warm them up. So yeah, it takes about 5 laps to warm up the tires. And by the time they all pitted, I mean, when they all pitted, I knew by the time their tires warmed up, they would still be in 5th or 6th place. There's just no chance. So yeah, that's kind of putting myself in position to learn about that on the first restart of the kind of cluster of restarts that we had, and I learned about what the car does on fresh tires compared to old tires on restarts, and use that to my advantage to make my decision to stay out the rest of the race.
Well, you played it perfectly. Once again, bringing home that checkered flag. Congratulations once again on your victory here tonight in Indianapolis. Looking ahead next week, complete opposite track. Kern County, how are we feeling about that one?
My relationship with the Kern County is not a good one at all. I will loudly praise that as my worst racetrack on the entire service. And honestly, I also just don't like it. I just don't like it. It's a weird short track that I don't like.
What don't you like about it? It's amazing.
I have this thing about short tracks where I feel like I'm constantly turning all the time and I can't ever go full throttle. I mean, that's why I excel at these big tracks, because I love momentum racetracks. I don't like racetracks where I have to sit at 35% throttle the whole time. It's something about it I do not like, but yeah, I don't know. This is what I like being part-time, not worrying about being having to go for a championship. I mean, I might have to go for a championship next year if Josh wins this one. So, because then we'll be tied on 2, and I can't have that. But,
oh no, we're gonna take that one personally. Absolutely,
I quite literally will take it personally. I need to be the championship all-time leader. But yeah, I don't think I'll run next week. I don't think I'll run Watkins Glen because I'm so bad at road courses and stock cars. Put me in a GT3 car and I'll be great. And I don't like Phoenix. Oh wait, so yeah, you'll probably see me in Las Vegas.
Well, when we see you in Las Vegas, we wish you the best, and we hope to get another good run out of you there. So looking forward to that one. Before we let you go, enjoy your win. Do you have anybody to thank for your awesome run tonight?
Gotta thank, of course, Tyler Tinsley for making this glorious race car. If you look good, you race good. That's what I like to say. And without him, I don't win this race today because I lose about 5% of my speed if I'm driving an ugly race car. And I was just so blessed to be able to drive this beautiful race car to victory lane where it belongs. So gotta thank him. Gotta thank Nathan County for giving me his money. I love Canadian dollars. So I hope to win more at Vegas for the next Noble 5 race. But yeah, gotta thank everybody really for a fun race.
Well, Braden, we appreciate you talking to us. Congratulations on your win. Congratulations on that No Bull 5 win. Also, forgot to mention that, but some extra cash there for you. Thank you so much for talking to us, and go enjoy your win, buddy.
All right, I will. Thank y'all.
And that'll just about wrap up our interviews. Ross, closing thoughts after our interviews with our winners and top 3.
Yeah, what a interesting, to chat with those drivers. I was thinking, you asked Muvik there as I did with Joshua Chin, are you pitting? Are you staying out? Because obviously when we watching on track, we're like, I don't know, and then they're deciding, and then ultimately they're both like, oh yeah, I already knew what I was gonna do. But it's so funny to hear that on their end post race like that. But yeah, nice recovery for we talked about Kendall Carpenter. A nice job. I think Joshua Chin, probably a couple what ifs tonight. Just how it was going, always having to battle whoever was up there for the lead, and in the end coming up a little bit short. But then we talked about Muvik and his great job with being able to execute in all different ways tonight, and to grab the win tonight. So always fun to chat with all those guys and to hear their perspective of it. And it was really a interesting race, and always fun to watch them go around and slide around at Indianapolis.
Absolutely, and we talked at the top of the show. It does, it did tend to cycle out and spread out. You get those long green flag runs where it spreads out and there's not a whole lot of racing, but there was enough action here tonight. I feel like it was a great race to watch. A lot of action side by side. Guys who you would expect to complete passes having to struggle with the tires and the aero wash here created a great race here to watch tonight at Indianapolis. Let's take you through the final lineup or final finishing order, rather, before we get on out of here. Braden Movick comes home your winner here tonight at Indianapolis and claims the No Bull 5 $25 bonus after qualifying previously at the last No Bull race. He, Josh Chin, Kendall Carpenter, William Schmidt, and Isaac Johnson will all qualify for the next No Bull race, the last one of the season at Las Vegas at the season finale. So we'll look forward to seeing them compete for that there. Josh Chin second, Kendall Carpenter third, William Schmidt fourth, Isaac Johnson. That is your top 5. A great run from Isaac Johnson tonight. I can't stress enough how awesome it is to see a tenured veteran such as himself finally get a good run and really get some TV time. So congratulations, Isaac, on your awesome run tonight. John Daniels as well. Not particularly one that we talk about being up in the top 10, but found himself up there. Got a 6th place finish out of the night. So a great night for the driver of the O2 car. Nolan Sanford as well. Started 5th, finished 7th. Brett Bennett 8th. Gavin Newton, not someone we talk about in the top 10 often, finishes 9th. And Griffin Jones rounds out the top 10. Couple of surprises there in the top 10. Great to see.
I look at the next page and a couple drivers here that I'm like, a very interesting night. Levi Wolf, we saw multiple times, had some incidents in 1 and 2, including going for a heck of a ride, and it comes home 11th, so not too bad. John Shulcheski comes home 12th. We saw him lead some laps early in the race. Mo Perry, another one, just kind of a crazy race. We talked about the snowball effect that he had of the penalty, and then get a couple moments on track off the corners, and but ultimately able to come home in 13th. Nathan Kiani in the 17 comes home 14th. Spencer Madden, we saw, had some chances up near the front that last run, but unfortunately had some issues towards the end. Marty Farrell in 16th. Adam Harrington 17th. Cole Freilich, Emery Spence, Michael Deitch. A lot of these drivers from Marty Farrell on back, multiple laps down and not able to finish the race due to damage.
Trey Patton being the sole driver who started the race, who he finishes in the 21st position. Jack Painter, Nate Stewart, Corey Redford, and Shane Sweeney all did not complete a lap. They will not receive credit for completing any laps tonight. That'll just about wrap it up here for all of us at Split Second Broadcasting. I've been Hunter Brittle alongside Ross Brockman in the booth, Jeff Johnson behind the sticks. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Indianapolis 200, race number 11 of OSRL Season 10. We will be back for race 15, the season finale at Las Vegas on January 15th. Tune in, same time, on the same channel. In a couple weeks' time, we will see you in the new year. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.